My friends, I have passed the 125,000 subscriber mark. I want to thank all of you for subscribing. I want to ask you please to check to make sure that you are still subscribed because I do not wish to lose subscribers now. It does happen every day, believe me, my friends. I'm telling you the truth. And I'm going to have a 125,000 subscriber celebration Friday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central, where we will be discussing in detail all about Rise of Skywalker, and my review will land Friday morning. Thank you for subscribing, and onward to 150. My friends, there's a hashtag going around Twitter that I find particularly gratifying. Hashtag Doomcock was right. Now that people are finally seeing Rise of Skywalker, they're learning that my sources were correct, on the money, spot on, cooking with gas. They gave me correct information. They were in a lot of cases exactly right. This much is clear now. Of course, they could just as easily have given me misleading or false information. All I ever reported was that I received the information, but one thing should now be clear to both my allies and my detractors. Doomcock tells the truth. Doomcock does not lie. When I tell you I have a source and that source provided me information, you can damn well rely on that. If that information proves to be false, so be it. I was misled. But everyone who accused me of being a liar can shove it. The future ruler of Earth does not lie. And now the future ruler of Earth is vindicated. So shove it, shills. When you call Doomcock a liar, you yourself are lying. I care about truth and about accuracy. That's why I report everything I receive as a rumor, without claiming it to be accurate. And my reporting consists not of the information per se, but the fact of receiving that information which I offer as is, making it clear that I cannot verify the information because I don't have the resources to do so. I allow the viewer to decide the plausibility of the information for themselves. Of course, to the extent that I can, I do use my judgment about the things I post. I can never be definitive, of course, but there were a number of leaks and rumors I didn't post because they didn't ring true to me. That said, I bring you not a leak today, not a rumor, but informed speculation based on information I've gathered online, information that leads me to ask a previously unthinkable question. Is Rise of Skywalker the next Solo? It seems impossible. This is a major release with a great deal of anticipation, and yet, look at the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. The major critic score is in, and after 241 official mainstream media reviews, Rise of Skywalker is sitting at 59% fresh. In other words, it is a big green splat of fail. Yes, my friends, Star Wars 9, The Rise of Skywalker is apparently so bad, even the shill sites are slamming it. I never anticipated this happening, even in the worst case scenarios I entertained. For Rise of Skywalker to be sitting at 59% fresh, it has to be absolutely atrocious. Mainstream critics rely on goodwill from the studios to ply their trade, especially where Disney is concerned. For guys like Mendelsohn at Forbes or John Campy to give Rise of Skywalker a bad review, it has to be so bad that a good review would be professionally embarrassing to them. It has to be so undeniably awful that giving it a good review would make even normies question your taste. So bad that giving it a good review would actually damage your brand as a reviewer. They're risking the wrath of the mouse by telling the truth because this time a lie would just be too hard. And if the movie is that bad, that means even the normies in a good Christmas mood may not like it. And if that happens, my friends, we may have another Solo on our hands. Just look at some of these reviews. James Berardinelli of Real Views says it's too bad that the Star Wars saga has saved the worst for last. Ty Burr of the Boston Globe says in terms of pure narrative it's satisfying. What it very rarely is inspired. Katie Walsh with the Tribune News Service says a harried and hectic affair. Wade Major with Synagogues.com says, I don't mean to say that this is a garbage film, but it's not a good film. It's a lazy, sloppy, presumptuous movie that shows no respect whatsoever for fans. Kimberly Pierce with Geek Girl Authority says Star Wars has been on screen in some form for more than 40 years, and it's sad that this hastily written film is where the saga ends. This movie could have been a heck of a lot better. Richard Whitaker of the Austin Chronicle says, sigh, well, at least J.J. Abrams put the proper round antenna back on the Falcon. Well, there is that at least. Matt Rodriguez with Shakefire says it's a rushed film that force throws everything at the screen, resulting in a lackluster ending that goes out with a whimper instead of a bang. Michael J. Casey with the Boulder Weekly says it's like watching a runner trip mid-stride. Keep moving forward, no matter how clumsy it looks, or fall flat on your face. Damian Straker with Impulse Gamer says those hoping for surprises, meaningful story arcs, engaging set pieces, and characters worth a damn should shrug it off. The franchise that reimagined cinema and earned a second life is spinning its wheels in the coarse sand again. Matt Neal with ABC Radio in Australia says the Rise of Skywalker is like a hyperactive 3-year-old filled with boundless energy and often entertaining, but mostly messy and directionless. And look at all these empty seats. Reports have been pouring in not just from the US, but from all over the world. Empty seats on opening night, empty seats on opening weekend, shades of Solo. We saw the same thing then. And the reason is clear. The Last Jedi and Lucasfilm's failure to learn from their mistakes. The Last Jedi killed the franchise, at least in terms of movies moving forward. It broke the back of Star Wars, and that back was Luke Skywalker. In their mad dash to promote Rey as the ultimate Jedi, the ultimate hero, the bestest ever, they felt that a shortcut to glory would be to drag Luke down into the gutter, show him up to be a bitter failure, rather than simply write a truly heroic arc for Rey, make her human, give her some reason to do things other than being the bestest ever. In short, hire a competent screenwriter. Instead of that, they trashed the original trilogy characters, they elevated her not for any reason other than just because, and in the process they killed 40 years of goodwill and fandom. Then, instead of owning up to their mistakes, instead of listening to the fans, instead of apologizing and getting some writers who love and understand Star Wars to fix it, they went back to the guy who broke it in the first place with The Force Awakens and expected a different result. Oh yes. And they trashed the fans who cared enough to complain, the fans who cared enough to warn Lucasfilm, hey, you're destroying our dreams, this is not what we want, please listen and fix this because we want to love Star Wars and we want to give you our money. And Lucasfilm replied, shut up you toxic, racist, sexist scum. When you're served up Disney Star Wars, you'll take it and like it. In the Disney model, the customer is seemingly always wrong now. And to quote Yoda, that is why they fail. Why do I think Rise of Skywalker may prove to be another Solo? Because it's objectively a bad movie according to critics, and God help them when the fan reviews get posted on Rotten Tomatoes. Because reminiscent of Solo, there are a hell of a lot of empty seats this weekend all over the world. Because Lucasfilm has spent years insulting the very fans who would have seen a decent version of this movie 10 times and proclaimed their love for a respectful, faithful Star Wars movie from the highest mountains. And because they didn't invite George Lucas to the premiere. And to fans like me who love George Lucas, that matters. If Lucasfilm had been smart, they would have listened to fans and course-corrected after The Last Jedi. But instead of listening, they called us racists and sexists and every other name they could think of, branding us as outliers when we were really telling them the truth they needed to hear. Now they're paying the price for their arrogance. Fan feedback, good or bad, is the best friend a corporation can have, the honest and freely given opinions of the very people who care the most. Ignore fan feedback at your peril, because if you do ignore the fans, you may find yourself well and truly soloed. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry.